Shri Mahaganathipataye Namaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Yasyaiva Sphuranam Sadatmakam Asatkalparthagam Bhasate Sakshat Tattvamasiti Veda Vachasa Yo Bodhayatyashritan Yat Sakshat Karanad Bhavenna Punaravrittir Bhavambho Nidhau Vrittirbhavambho nidhau tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye nama idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. You see, the one reality appears as three in three different contexts. What we call Adhyatma, Adhibhuta and Adhidaiva. So, what appears as the God, the Adhidaiva, the reality, the Brahman, appearing as the God in a given context, that alone appears as the preceptor in the Adhibhuta, in the world. And that alone shines as the Adhyatma. So, based on the upadhi, upadhi means the adjunct, limiting adjunct. So like the same water, when the temperature is below zero, it appears as solid. When the temperature is above zero, but below 100, it appears as liquid. When the temperature goes beyond 100, it appears as steam. Same water. So in three different temperatures appears as three different things. And also may have different purposes to serve, what they call arthakriya karitvam. The purpose that the ice serves, water cannot serve. And what water can do, steam cannot do. What steam can do, the other two cannot do. So they serve different purposes. They have different shapes, all because of different temperatures. Otherwise, vastu is the same. So the temperature is the adjunct, kind of upadhi. So similarly, the same Brahman in a given upadhi called Ishvara, in a different upadhi called Atma, in a third upadhi called preceptor, Guru. It is like you have the ocean. Only one ocean, not so many oceans. We try to call it different oceans, but only one ocean. But at one place it is called Atlantic. In another place it is called Pacific. But maybe that is not the example. The same ocean, in a slightly different way it can be looked at as the same ocean is called China Sea. When adjoining China land, the landmass is China. Adjoining the China, it is called China Sea. It is not China Sea, it is sea. But we call it China Sea. Then you go 100 miles, you call it Japan Sea. And you come a bit down, you call it Indian Sea, Indian Ocean. Same ocean it is all. So similarly, the same Brahman, in one context Guru, in another context Atma, Sishya, in a third context it is Brahman, Ishvara. So tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Nama idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. That is the prayer. So it amounts to saying Namo Mahyam Namo Namaha. Amounts to saying I prostrate unto myself. You see, once Ramana Maharshi was reading a book, some book he was reading. Someone asked, Maharshi, what book are you reading? Some of these students asked. He said, I am reading my own biography. That is what he said. So people thought, okay, something he wrote and he is reading it probably. Then when they noticed it later, it was Kenopanishad. So Kenopanishad is his biography. Because it talks about Brahma, which is Atma. That is the biography. But then that becomes the biography of every one of us also, if we know. So this is how The oneness has to be appreciated. And so Shankara, even in the prayer, he doesn't compromise the oneness. So people believe that to make a prayer meaningful or possible, you need to have duality. Not necessary. So it begins with the duality and concludes or culminates in the oneness. That is the significance of that prayer. And as I was saying, the relationship between the Jagat and the Ishvara or Brahman is succinctly pointed out in the first line. Yasyaiva sphuranam sadatmakam idam sadatmakam asatkalparthagam bhasate. So artha, asat kalpa artha. Artha is the object of the world. And this object of the world is associated with 4 qualities, 4 characters. So it is, and it shines. It is a name associated with a form. Nama, Rupa, 4. You take it as 4. Sometimes we add one more, but for the present you take it as 4. And in these 4, Nama, Rupa are the superimposition of the mind. Mind attaches Nama, Rupa to that. Whereas in itself it is and it shines. Asti bhati. So everything is asti bhati and a Nama, Rupa is attached to that. And this Namarupa is a projection of the mind and therefore it is unreal. And so once you abstract the Namarupa, what remains is Asthibhati. And that Asthibhati is Brahman. Yasyaiva sphuranam sadatmakam. Yasya Asthibhati, the Asthibhati of the Brahman, alone is playing the role of a substratum of all objects of this world. Therefore, if Namarupa is not, if Asthibhati of every Namarupa is Brahman, then what about the corresponding Namarupas? Each Namarupa, they are all there. What about them? Asat, they are unreal. So, but they appear. So, Asat Kalparthagam Bhasate. Okay, that is how the Jagat versus Brahman is settled. What about myself? Sakshat Tat. So Tat, that Brahman, which is the Asthibhati of this entire universe, which is the Satchit substratum of what all appears in as this universe, of this Jagat, that Brahman, Tvam Asi. That art thou. You are that Brahman. So this is where people have to pay proper attention and appreciate it. People generally, they don't want to be Brahman or any such thing. People want their smallness because they find a peculiar security or safety in the smallness. Even in the ignorance, suppose I am ignorant, I remain separate from God. Suppose I get knowledge, then I will become one with God. Then, is that so? Yes, it is so. Then I would like to remain ignorant for some more time. So, people are not in a hurry to know the truth. Because if you know the truth, whatever smallness that you have built around you, that will vanish. That will get shattered. And so, suppose subconsciously, I always derive a sense of security in the smallness, then we don't want to get rid of that smallness in a big hurry. So, it is like, I always remember this illustration. I suppose it is a good illustration. So, in India, in the state government, this LDC clerk is there, lower division clerk. Now the officer calls him and says, I am promoting you. And the promotion, so now how to look at it? He is not immediately sure about it. Because promotion means he will become upper division clerk. And that will bring extra responsibilities. And so how to look at it? So let me think about it, sir. No, I am promoting you and transferring to a new place as the chief of that place. No, sir, I will remain here only. No, you will lose your promotion. You know what this guy will do? You believe me, he will come out and write on a piece of paper, I submit hereby that I do not need any promotion and I want to remain where I am. because my son is in the college, my daughter is in the high school, I don't want any promotion. So he doesn't want promotion. He writes on a piece of paper and gives to the officer, I don't want promotion. No, your junior will be promoted otherwise. Let him be promoted. I am okay. So he wants to remain a lower division clerk. He doesn't want to be promoted, because he finds some reason to remain small, some security he discovers in it. Like a person sitting in the dark room, he doesn't want to come out into the light of the sun, because they were while sitting in the dark room for so long, you get accustomed to the darkness, and you find the light of the sun is very, very dazzling and not acceptable readily. That's why, this is the reason why mumukshutvam, an intense longing for freedom, is an important qualification for the knowledge of the self. It's an important qualification. So here I have a question. In Vedanta, we pursued without acquiring sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Can it be pursued without having sadhana chatushtaya? Without having the four qualifications, vairagya, viveka vairagya, and then shamadamadi. The purity and the stability of the mind. That is the shamadamadi, 6 qualities, all about mind. And 4th quality is the longing for freedom. So these are the 4 qualities. Can you pursue Vedanta without the 4 qualities? They are the qualifications we are saying. They are the qualifications required. It is like to do MA, you need to have passed, you need to have the qualification of BA. No, you get up and ask, without BA can I do MA? No, it is not possible. Unless you seek some special exemption for whatever reason. So, BA is the qualification required for MA. Similarly, these four qualifications are required. And so, for the knowledge of the self, that intense longing for the freedom, freedom from all the limitations imposed by the smallness of the self. So that longing for the freedom is a primary qualification. It must be there. And so without it, the statement like Tattvamasi, etc. cannot be appreciated well. So as part of that discussion, I am answering a question. So the question continues, if so, would the study of Vedanta help in acquisition of the qualification? Yes. So here the interesting thing is, you may not put yourself into a kind of self-defeating argument that I don't have qualification, therefore I don't go to study Vedanta. Unless you go to study Vedanta, you will not even gain what is qualification, and you wouldn't even know. And so the question of gaining qualification will not come. And so it's a self-defeating argument. You should not fall into that argument. You need qualifications, but still you come to the class, you will acquire qualification. So, as we study Vedanta, that longing for freedom from the smallness, longing for freedom from the pettiness, petty egoic state of life, so that longing will come. And as it comes, so now we are ready to know the truth. So the truth is now declared by the Shruti, Veda Vachasa. The words of the Veda, they declare the truth. Sakshat Tattvamasi. So Sakshat, I will come to the Sakshat. So Tattvam Asi. That art thou. Thou art that. You are that. You are that Brahman. This is what the Shruti says. What is the glory or significance of Veda Vachas, the words of the Shruti? What is it? You see, it is also a statement, like we make so many statements in our life. Vakya, we say Vakya. So many Vakyas, statements. So, like every statement that is made by us, it is called Jnana Janya Jnana Bodhakam Vakyam. Like you see a pot and you get a jnanam, perception gives you a jnanam. This is a pot, that is the jnanam you get. Out of that jnanam you make a statement, and that statement gives jnanam to the other person. So, first I gain jnanam through perception and communicate that jnanam to another person. That is the speech, through a statement. That is called Jnana Janya Jnana Bodhakam Vakyam. So, the jnana that I get, and from that jnana, I communicate a piece of information or knowledge to you. Suppose I figure out, that is perception. Conception is also like that, inference. I look at the mountain peak, and so it has some smoke billowing out of it. And so immediately, I compare it with the kitchen. Oh, there must be fire inside that mountain. I figure it out. So even if you go to Hawaii, you have to do that only. You are not going to see the fire or anything. They won't allow you to see the fire. You have to see the smoke. And after going, so we go to Hawaii, we take a 5-hour flight and go to Hawaii to see Jwalamukhi, the Agni Jwala we want to see coming from the mountain. And so we go there, and then there we see the smoke and infer, oh, there is fire inside. So after going there also, you have to infer only. You do not see anything directly. Anyway, so you infer, there is fire. See there, where is fire? Where I went to Hawaii and I wanted to see fire. Where is fire? No, you see the smoke. Don't show me smoke. I want to see fire. I came here for seeing fire, not smoke. So seeing smoke and inferring fire, we were doing it at the age of 10 itself. Anyway, this is the inferential knowledge. So I got the knowledge. Oh, there is fire. Parvato Vanniman. Now that knowledge I have got. I convey that, I communicate it, a statement. The Vedic statement is not like that. It is not Jnana Janya Jnana Bodhakam Vakyam. It is Jnana Ajanya Jnana Bodhakam Vakyam. It is a statement which communicates a knowledge that you cannot acquire through the normal means of knowing, namely through perception and inference. You cannot know it. That kind of a truth the Vedic statement conveys. That is the Rishi. The Rishihi Darshanat. Risha Darshane, that is the Dhatu. So he sees what the eyes cannot see. He sees what the mind cannot conceive. That he sees. And that is his knowledge. And that knowledge you cannot get through inference and perception. That knowledge he communicates. That is how a Rishi is. You see, even Newton, Einstein, such great scientists are called Rishis. Even Aryabhata, Varaha Mihira, they are all called Rishis. Because, you see, Aryabhata, he considers a question. What is the question? He says, he talks this language. He lived in 200 AD. And he talks, earth is going round the sun. He says, earth is a globe going round the sun. And then he talks of a centrifugal force. If earth is going round the sun at a particular angular momentum, then the people standing on the earth may not be able to stand on the earth. They should be tossed into the open space. But that is not happening. Why so? And he asks a question. And he answers, the earth has a power of attraction on all the objects that are there on it. And then he further says, this power of attraction is directed towards the center of the earth. This much he says. How did they know? You see, when you look around and conclude, you have to say the earth is flat. That is what you have to say. The earth has a curvature. But the curvature, the concavity, the curvature is so the curvature is small or big, is so small that it looks flat. The curvature is so tiny that it looks flat. And so it appears flat. And so you make a statement. Earth is flat. This is called Jnanajanya Jnanabodhakam Vakyam. Then you see it as flat it appears, but you are not going to be carried away by what appears. And so you have a special vision. And then you say, earth is round, going round the sun. This is something, a vision. Veda walk is like that. That is the Veda. Every statement is not Veda. In Google, what all you find in Google It is jnana-janya jnana. He picks up jnana from somewhere and makes statements and puts it to you. That is jnana-janya jnana. Google may be very big, but it is still jnana-janya jnana. But a rishi's vision, you see, suppose a rishi sees a truth that you don't find it in Google unless after the rishi. Anyway, forget about Google thing. So the rishi darshana, that kind of a statement it is. When you look at yourself and look around and then visualize a God, a conceptual God, then you are different from what all is around you, and you are also different from the God who has created this world. That is how it is, like saying that the earth is flat, or the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Sun goes around the earth. So there must be a revolution in you. Then you are ready for that truth, Tattvamasi. You need a revolution. In fact, this revolution is called Copernicus revolution. Because till Copernicus, everybody thought, in the Western hemisphere, so there are the exceptions like Aryabhata, Varaha, Mihira, etc., before Copernicus also, but the way modern astronomy is chronicled, so it is called Copernicus revolution. Till Copernicus entered the picture, so everybody thought that the sun goes round the earth. Earth stays and sun will be going round. Because that is what you see. The sound can be increased a little. That will be nice. So, then Copernicus, he put it upside down. He said it is wrong. It is the sun. It is not the sun who goes around the earth. It is the earth that goes around the sun. No, that is not how it appears. No, what appears is wrong. And he sees it. This is called Copernicus revolution. It's a metaphor. Such a revolution you need to have in yourself. Such a revolution. Then you are ready. Yeah, now good. Then you are ready for the truth, for the Vedic truth. So people ask, Veda talks of karma kanda, where all kinds of worship are there. It talks of upasana, where mental worship are there. If the truth is oneness, why are all talked about, even in the same Veda? Because Veda sees that you are not ready for it. You are not ready for a revolution. It is a revolution. It is a radical inner transformation. In fact, I would not even call it transformation. I would call it transmutation. That is what it is. A radical inner transmutation. So, when you are ready for that kind of a Copernicus revolution, then the truth is given by the statement of the Shruti, Vedavachasa, Tattvamasi. This truth, that art thou, you will not be able to appreciate with perception and conception or inference. You cannot understand it with eyesight, with perception, and also with inference. You cannot understand it, all that mental operation. You will understand it when you go beyond the words and the mind. And so that is what is called sakshat. There is a word sakshi. So Panini derives the word with a sutram. Sakshat drashtari saujñāyam. Sakshi. So sakshat means direct apperceiving it is. Direct. What do you mean by direct? When you see this is a flower, it is a flower as it is seen by the eyes and the mind, right? Between you and the flower, the so-called flower, there is the medium of the eyesight and the mind. You are behind the mind, and there is the mind and the eyesight and the object. So now, whatever sensation or whatever stimulus that the object generates in your system, that stimulus is filtered through the medium of the eyesight and then through the medium of the mind, and then the information is passed on to you, and the information that you get is, this is a flower. Therefore, when you say this is a flower, it is indirect knowledge, it is not direct knowledge. Because you have the medium of mind and eyesight between them. When you say, the Parvato Vanhiman, there is fire in the mountain, inside the mountain. So that is not perception, because you do not see the fire, but you infer the fire. So, therefore, eyesight is out, eyesight exists, but when it comes to the fire, eyesight is only up to the level of smoke. But when it comes to the fire, it is not eyesight anymore. It is entirely the mind. The mind, with its power of inference, it concludes, there is fire, and that knowledge you get. And even that knowledge is not direct, because it is the knowledge which is created by the mind. Through mind you get that information. Whereas, Aham Brahmasmi, it is not not through perception, it is not through inference, it is the direct knowledge it is. You go beyond the mind and abide in your Swarupa and appreciate that the Swarupa has no boundaries. That is called Brahma. Brahma is not a positive word. Brahma means spaceless. I was describing the meaningless words, So Brahma is another meaningless word. Means it's spaceless. It has no spatial boundary. It has no duality in it. So when you abide in yourself, you appreciate, in fact you do not say, in the knowledge you don't say I am Brahma, like that you don't say. In the knowledge, in that self-realization, you won't be saying, there is no division in me, there is no division in me, like that you won't be saying. So, that self-realization is, you remain what you are. Essentially, you are the boundaryless, pure awareness. That is what you are. And so, it is everything negative. Purnam. Purnam means I am Purna, I am Purna, I am Purna. You will not be saying like that. Then what is the meaning of Purnam? You do not feel or experience any limitation. That's why you are Purna. You do not feel or experience any division. Whereas when you are looking with the eye, you are looking at a flower, you are able to see a flower as an object outside of you only when you fix yourself as a self-conscious person. You must be a self-conscious person to see the multiple world. Unless you are a self-conscious person separate, you cannot visualize, you cannot be perceiving a multiple world or any object for that matter. Whereas, when you abide as the pure, awareful being, the Atma, in that you do not feel or experience any division. In that sense, it is Advaitam. So, there it is Sakshat. Without the intervention of the mind and perception, the sense organs, you realize yourself as the boundaryless, divisionless, limitless, limitationless, pure, awareful being. That is the Sakshat. You understand it deeply within, without the intervention of the mind or the eyesight. That is the Sakshat. Sakshat Tattvamasi. You see, this Tattvamasi, I will be able to describe it up to a small point only, up to something, and then I will go to the next verse. You see, there is the Son of Atma reflecting in the mind as I am. I am giving you a small formula-like description. So the Son of Atma, which is Brahman, is reflecting in the mind as the image. You see, sun reflecting in the water as an image. So similarly, the Son of Atma is reflecting in the mind, the mirror of the mind, as the Chidabhasa, they say, the reflection of the Chit, in the form of I am. That a self-conscious being, that I am. Don't add anything to that. If you add anything to that, that becomes a false I am. the pure I amness. That's why we call it aham vritti. We do not call it ahankara. Ahankara means already the aham vritti is identified with the body, and the body is in movement. Therefore, ahankaromi, ita ahankaraha. That is all ego. So, without identification with the body-mind, the pure sense of I am, that is the image. So, you place yourself as that image. You place yourself as the Chidabhasa. You have put around you too many self-definitions and self-categorizations. I am father, I am brother, I am this, I am that, I was born, I am going to die. So many things you have put around yourself. You just reject all of them and abide as the pure I am. Now that pure I am is the window to the truth. It is like the sun is about to rise and you stand, you remove the drape of the window, clean the window. If there is a glass, clean that glass, and you stand at the window, so that the sun rises, you will be the witness of the rising sun. So similarly, you abide as pure I amness, pure I am. This I am is also a thought, but it is the primordial thought, the thought before any other thought arises. And so that is the very fundamental or primordial thought, I am. And you abide there. Now this I am, on one side of the I am is the limitless awareness Chit, which is Brahman. On the other side of the I am, on the lower side of the I am is the body-mind. Body you take. And so, if the mind is crude and full of distortions and contradictions, then such a mind, it will identify the I am with the body. That is the ignorance. And what results is an isolated, egoic person, an isolated ego in a separate body. To put it in the words of Descartes, so the isolated ego in the separate body. That is how it happens due to the ignorance of the mind. But on the other hand, when the mind is pure and it is sattvic and it is free from all distortions and desires, etc., and fears, etc., that is the primary qualification. And so such a mind, instead of identifying with the physical body, it merges, it identifies with the sun of pure Chit. Then that is the state which can be described as Tattvamasi. Therefore, the person that you imagine yourself to be, is a product of, is a conglomerate of the body, the mind, and the Atma, and ignorance. You should have the ignorance. Without ignorance, body-mind won't make you an isolated person. Body-mind don't make you. Ignorance must be there. So, unless you add that ignorance, you cannot have a person. So, Atma, mind, body, now is equal to person? No. That is equal to not person. You could be a jnani also. Atma, mind, body plus ignorance is equal to person. Atma, mind, body minus ignorance means ignorance is not there. That is the realized soul. The realized soul will continue to live. He will have the body-mind like any one of us. And he will have headache also like any ajnani. Ajnani gets a headache occasionally. Jnani also gets headache. People think that jnani should not get headache. Why not? As long as there is a head, the possibility of headache will be there. And then that Tylenol may work also. So, therefore, outwardly, there is virtually no difference between a jnani and a jnani, outwardly. And inwardly, there is absolutely nothing which is common between a jnani and a jnani. So, Tattvamasi. So you are that reality, Brahman. So, this is how you have to understand. I will put it in a slightly different formulation, the Atma Chaitanyam. The Atma Chaitanyam is there. It reflects in the mind. When the mind captures the image of the Atma Chaitanyam, it is in the sattvic mode. It is like a pure, clean mirror captures the image of the sun, sattva. So, it is the sattva which is responsible for the chidabhasa, the reflection of the chit in the mind. The sattva aspect of the mind captures the image of the Atma. Rajas and tamas cannot capture any image. You need a clean mirror. A dirty mirror cannot capture any image. Or a mirror which is ever moving cannot capture any meaningful image. Therefore, the mind, which is the sattvic aspect of the mind, captures the image of the Atma. And then immediately Rajas kicks in. The image is I am. And the Rajas kicks in. What is the Rajas? Identification with the organs of action. And therefore, and emerging as the doer. I am the doer. As the identification happens, the Rajas kicks in. The pure I am becomes I am the doer. This is what Sri Krishna says. Ahankara vimudhatma. So, prakruteh kriyamanani gunaih karmani sarvashaha. All actions happen in the body, which is a child of the Prakriti, nature. But because this person, he assumes himself to be the doer, because of the delusion. So aham becomes confused with the doership. Ahankara. Aham karomi. Ahankara vimudhatma. Kartahamiti manyate. That is how the rajas kicks in. And then you further identify with the body. That is when the tamas kicks in. So the rajas and tamas kick in. Having the sattva has done its job, the rajas and tamas kick in. And you become a person in an isolated body, separate from everything else. Suppose the rajas and the tamas, you prevent them. That is how you get out of the ajnana. Then the sattva, it captures the image of the Atma as I am. This image, instead of identifying with the body-mind, it merges in its source, which is Atma, which is Brahma. Then the statement, Tattvamasi, is very valid statement. That art thou. So, I will give one more formulation. This you can, whole week you can do the same thing. Because there is never any satisfaction. You feel like saying something more. That is Atma Vichara, you know. You have the incense stick, glow, and the smoke. That is what you are. The glow is Atma. The smoke is the mind. Incense stick is the body. Now, do you want to identify with what? There is no sense or there is no wisdom in identifying with the body, which is like the incense stick. There is no sense in identifying with the smoke also, in spite of its fragrance. You should rise above the fragrance. You should rise above the beauty of the incense stick and all that. People want to take a photograph of the incense stick. When you take the photograph of the incense stick, in the photo, you see only the smoke and the stick. You don't see the glow. You cannot photograph the light. You can only photograph the smoke and the stick. Light you cannot photograph. You look at the photo. You cannot photograph the glow. I mean, I am just taking it as an example. Take the spirit of the example. Don't defeat the example I request you. You don't defeat my example. Some examples fit in to the extent they fit in. If the example fits in entirely, then it is not an example. It is the thing only. Okay. Anyway, therefore, you want to photograph the smoke and the stick. You don't want to recognize the glow in yourself. There is a glow in yourself, the glow of Atma. How do you know? I tell you how. You wake up. Now, the glow began shining brilliantly. You instantly know things, effortlessly, instantly. You have to wonder at some of these things. If you do not wonder, If that amazement is not in you, you will not know the truth. You must have that amazement. Oh my God, is it? Yeah. I wonder at myself. Oh, what a glory I have. I wake up and I know things instantly, without any effort, spontaneously I know. I turn my head in this direction. It is like the miner, the coal miner inside the underground mine with a cap, with a helmet and that bulb, shining bulb. He is looking this side. This is all dark. He turns this side. Everything starts shining brilliantly. He doesn't make any effort to make it illuminate. He just turns the head. Whole of it starts shining. You are like that. You are like coal miner. You look east, the whole east comes to light. You look west, the whole west comes to light. Until you look, the north and south should remain in darkness. You have to turn your head towards north and declare, Kubera is the Lokapala of the north. Till then, poor Kubera will be waiting in darkness. Really? You have underestimated yourself. You do not know your glory. In whichever direction you turn your head, that direction starts getting illuminated. You look at physics, physics comes to light. You look at chemistry, chemistry comes to light. You have to look at Google, then only Google can come to light, otherwise it will remain in darkness. So, you look at sun, he becomes the sun. You look at wife, she becomes the wife. You have to look at. Till then everything, you make the guru a guru. You make God the God. Can there be a God without a devotee? So Deva Suna, there is a song like that. Deva Suna. Suna means, did you hear? Deva Suna Bhakta Bina. Did you hear about a God who doesn't have a devotee? You see, Lord Venkateshwara is the most powerful God. Why? Why? You ask the reason. You know what reason they give? He attracts a large number of bhaktas. So where is the glory now? In the bhakta. Lord Venkateshwara is a very rich God. Why? He is rich. Why he is rich? Oh, he is married to Lakshmi Devi. That is okay. But you be more practical about it and tell me, why is he rich? He is rich because the devotees make him rich. Therefore, so the Guru is the Guru only because the Sishyas make him Guru. Otherwise he has to address the empty chairs and tables. And so you have to understand your glory. So now I am coming to the point. You should learn to amaze or to wonder at yourself. Oh, what I am. You have to wonder. Then only you will know it. Please believe me. If you take yourself lightly, routinely, mechanically, I am the same old guy, unfortunate guy, if that is how you look at yourself. Or you say, oh, I was born long back and ready to die, then you will not know what I am saying. Or if you say, oh, presently Shani is bothering me and so I am a very unhappy guy, then you will not know what I am saying. Or you say, oh, my boss is persecuting me and I am an unfortunate person, I cannot do anything. Then you will not know what I am saying. To know what I am saying, you should be empty. You should have an empty mind. At the same time, very alert. When the mind is empty, you are alert. Did anybody tell you this? You are fully alert only when your mind is empty. Did anyone tell you this? Okay, I am telling you. You are fully alert, not when the mind is blank. That is not what I am. You should not misinterpret. So you are fully alert when the mind is empty. You are learning only when the mind is empty. You examine yourself, you explore yourself. When you are, suppose I say something and you are comparing and contrasting it with the knowledge that you already have, you are not learning anything. You are assessing, estimating, judging, not learning. When you are learning, your mind is empty. And do you have that wonderment in you? Do you wonder when you look at the moon? Is there any wonder in your heart when you look at the moon? Is there wonder in your heart when you look at a rose, when you look at a child, when you look at anything of beauty? Do you have that wonder in you? Do you wonder at the glory of the rising sun? That is the basic qualification you need to understand what I am saying. So now, assuming that that qualification is already in, it is in place, so I now say, I wake up. The whole world waits for me to wake up. It has to wait for me to wake up. When I doze off, the world disappears. It is the end of the world. And I wake up, the whole world comes to light because of me. And now what I say, I illumine the entire world. To be is to be perceived. So it is like the miner illumines the entire mind, which lies in darkness otherwise. So I wake up, the entire world illumines. And so I illuminate the total. And then by mistake, habit means mistake, ityartha. Another name for habit is ignorance. Habit is same as ignorance. By the habit of ignorance, I illuminate the total. You see, you examine your situation and see whether you make any meaning of what I am saying. I wake up and the whole is shining now. In my knowing, all that exists is related to me through my knowing. So the whole thing shines now in my awareness. And then the totality, I illuminate this totality. And then I make myself a small part of the totality. That is called ignorance. You illuminate the totality. Even while illuminating the totality, you illuminate this body-mind also as part of the totality. Unless you illuminate this, there will be no totality. Unless you illuminate totality, there will be no body-mind. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi used to say, the body and the world come together and sync together. So you illuminate the totality, which includes the body, and you identify with the particular, and then separate yourself from the totality. You put it in place. This totality, you put it in place. And you separate yourself from the totality, and now you need a God to account for the totality. And that God is different from you. I would say differently. I would picturize it differently. I am the one who illuminates the totality, and hence everything shines in my awareness. The content of the awareness is not important. The awareness alone is important. When you go to the movie, the multiple scenes are not important. The light which illuminates the scenes alone is important. That is called vairagya. The content of the awareness is not important. It is not real. It is only an appearance. The awareness alone is important. The dream world is not important, because it is not real. That you have illuminated a dream world is the truth. That is the only truth. What you have illuminated is nothing. It is only an apparition. That you have illuminated a dream is the truth. So the content of awareness is unimportant, is unreal. The awareness alone is real. And that awareness, which includes the total, which includes the part, that awareness, which includes the person, which includes the world that the person projects, that awareness, what other God can be there? If that, other than that awareness, what else God can be? That is the God. And that is you. Tattvamasi. No, I am the particular. No, come on, you are not the particular. You are the one who illuminates the total as well as the particular. So, did you get that? So, Tattvamasi. Anyway, so the Jiva and Ishvara are in essence one. They are not different. They are in essence one. There is only one self, the supreme reality, in which the personal and the impersonal are one. There is only one reality, one awareness absolute, in which the personal and the impersonal, in which the particular and the total are one. That is the only reality. There is no myself and there is no yourself or his self or herself. There is only one self, the self of all. We are misled by the diversity of the names and forms. We are misled by the diversity of the minds and bodies, and we imagine multiple selves. There are no multiple, there is only one ocean. There are no multiple oceans. There is only one ocean. You are confused by the land mass adjoining the ocean and divide the ocean into multiple oceans. There is only one ocean. There is only one self. And the talk of a personal self and a universal self. The talk of personal self is the devotee or the jiva, and universal self Ishvara. This talk of a personal self and universal self is the learner's stage. It is the preliminary stage. You talk of a personal self worshipping the universal self, jiva worshipping Ishvara. It is the learner's stage. You have to go beyond. How long you remain the learner? You have to go beyond. You don't get stuck in duality. Understand that the God that you are worshipping is yourself. I ask you, you worship a God. What is your God? Is he Jnanam or what? He is the Jnanam. So, are you not the Jnanam? You are the Jnanam. Therefore, your God is Jnanam. Suppose you are not Jnanam. Can your God be Jnanam? You are the Jnanam. Therefore, your God is Jnanam. You are the love, therefore your God is love. Can your God be something which you are not? Cannot be. You are compassionate, therefore you want your God to be compassionate. You are loving, therefore you want your God to be loving. You are knowing, therefore you want your God to be knowing. Unless you are any of those things, your God cannot be that. So, unknowingly, you are worshipping your own inner self outside as the God. Tattvamasi. This is a divine madness. What I am describing is a divine madness. You should have the divine madness. When you could be mad about the things of the world, why not divine madness? When you could be crazy towards the things of the world, you better get rid of that craze and develop some divine madness. A poet, he says, I have no scruple of change, nor fear of death, nor was I ever born. You should be able to declare that. How do you know that you were born? Do you know that you were born? Do you know? No, somebody, we don't want hearsay. Do you know? You tell me what you know about yourself. You tell me, do you know that you were born? Why do you say I was born? So the poet says, I have no scruple of change, no fear of death, nor fear of death, nor was I ever born, nor had I parents. It is nothing to do with the Matru Deva Bhava, Pitru Deva Bhava. Love is, it expresses in its context. This is Tattvamasi, you know. I am existence absolute, knowledge absolute, bliss absolute, Ananda. I am that, I am that. Ramatirtha. In Madhya Pradesh, in India, this poem is there in the college for the students. I cause no misery, nor am I miserable. I have no enemy, nor am I enemy. Why should you have any enemy? Why should you have? No, he said something. Let him say some more things. Why should you bother? You bless him. I have no enemy, nor am I enemy. I am existence absolute, knowledge absolute, bliss absolute. I am that. I am that. I am without form. I illuminate the form. I am without form. You see, when you say you are a person, in that person, the seer and the seen are got mixed up. The Sakshi is the seer, body is the seen. You mix them up. It is like mixing up the mud and the sugar. Mix up the mud and sugar. What will happen? You lost the glory of the sugar. So, the Sakshi and the body are mixed up. Then only there is a person. There is a mix-up, aham idam. Aham is the Sakshi, idam is the body. Aham idam. How aham can be idam? But then that is the mithya-jnana krataha naisargikoyam lokavyavaharaha, Shankara. So there is a mix-up. And when there is no mix-up, I witness the form, I illuminate the form. But I am without form. I illuminate all limits, space limit, time limit, etc. But I am without limit. I am without form, the poet. I am without limit. Beyond space, beyond time. It is very clear. Here, there. You see, when you say here, your awareness has pervaded here. Then only you can say here. Could you get it? Your awareness enveloped here. Then only you can say here. There. Now your awareness enveloped there. Then only you can say there. Now where are you? You are here or there? Or you are everywhere? Where are you? You are everywhere. Your awareness envelops here. Your awareness envelops there. Therefore, you are not limited in space. You envelop the space with your awareness. Therefore, you are beyond space. The poet says, I am without form, without limit, beyond space, beyond time. You have to bless the time. Till then there is no time. You have to think of the future. Then only there is future. People, they are crazy. They don't understand some basic truth that there is no animal called future. There is no such animal in this creation called future. There is only present. Only present. Now. Bhotancha bhavya, bhotam bhavishyat, bhavat svakale. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. So, what you call bhotam was bhavat only. It is never bhota. You cannot have a bhotam. You have only bhavat. You cannot have a bhavishyat. You only have bhavat. Bhavat is the only truth. The present is the only truth. There is no future. And therefore, there is no, I am beyond time. I am not limited by the past and future. I am beyond time. I am in everything. And everything is in me. I am the bliss of the universe. Everywhere am I. I am existence absolute, knowledge absolute, bliss absolute. I am that. I am that. The poet says, I am without body or change of the body. I am neither senses nor object of the senses. I am existence absolute, knowledge absolute, bliss absolute. I am that. I am that. I am neither sin nor virtue, nor temple nor worship, nor pilgrimage nor books. I am existence absolute, knowledge absolute, bliss absolute. I am that. I am that. Swami Ramatirtha. So that is the Tattvamasi. So, that you have to know, sakshat. You have to apperceive it. You have to understand it deeply within. It is not to be understood with the mind. You don't trust your mind. I am not enemy to the mind. You don't expect the mind to deliver truth to you. You should be able to draw the boundary, limitation. The mind is this much. It is limited. And the mind can move from the known to the known. The truth is not the known. Truth is the unknown. The mind cannot move from the known to the unknown. It can only move from the known to the known. It is the limitation. And the truth is beyond the frontier of the known. Therefore, aprapya manasa saha. There is a limitation. Draw the boundary. Bless the mind. You need not say anything against it. You bless it. But draw the boundary so that you go beyond the boundary. Sakshat. That is the sakshat. Sakshat drashtari samajñāyām. Sakshi. Sakshat is not panchami ekavachanam. It is avjaya, it is. So, therefore, sakshat tattvamasi iti vedavachasa yo bodhayatyashritan. Now I have to conclude this verse. So, yat sakshat karanat bhavenna punaravurtihi bhavambho nidhau. Then the question is asked, why should we know that? Tattvamasi, why should I know that? Why not continue as a person? I told you, the human being is never in a hurry to know the truth. He is not interested in truth so much as he is interested in the things of the world. He wants a new car more than Tattvamasi. So, that's why, unless you have a great longing for the truth, an all-consuming longing for the truth, it is called mumuksha or jijñāsa. One huge longing for the truth and a total disenchantment with the world. Till then, you have not even taken the first step in the direction of the truth. You need it. Without that amazement, that wonder, that longing, so that the divine madness is required. So, anyway, so when that much of love, it is not the physical effort. Don't worry on that count. It is not the physical, it is love. Love has all that, what I described. Love for the truth. A person was asked, he said, I want to know the truth. Then Bhagavan said to him, the devotee, Bhagavan appeared and said to him, if you know the truth, the realization of the truth is the result of infinite punyam. And so all your punyam will be exhausted now. You know the truth. And now, because truth is the result of all punya, and then all the papa will remain. And immediately after realizing the truth, you will go to hell. Because only papa remained. That is what Bhagavan told. Then he told, I want the truth. I don't care whether I go to hell. I want the truth. It will exhaust all your punya. Let it. I want the truth. Then he gets the truth. No, we will see it later. So you won't get the truth. Therefore, so why should I need truth? So why not continue the same? No. You see, without self-realization, you will be consumed by desires and fears, repeating themselves meaninglessly. We were pursuing desires at the age of 10, at the age of 20, at the age of 30, at the age of 40, at the age of 50. Even now we are worshipping God for fulfillment of desires. And we are afraid of many things, even now. So what does it prove? We are consumed meaninglessly by the desires and fears which repeat endlessly, causing an endless suffering. You see, most of the people do not know that there can be an end to this suffering. They do not even know that. And But once they heard the good news, there is self-realization at hand. That is the good news. So, obviously, for any intelligent person, going beyond this suffering, this strife and struggle is the most urgent task that can be. That's why I quite often say, what your mind imagines that it needs is not what you need. In fact, I will tell you, whatever the mind conceives is not exactly what you need. So, the urgent task that you can have, if any, is only this much: to go beyond all the strife and struggle. You know that you can be free. Tattvamasi, you now know that you can be free. And now it is up to you. Either you remain forever limited, struggling, with inner poverty, always conflicted, so cheerless. Either you remain like that, or you go out of all that wholeheartedly in the search of the timeless perfection. Timeless perfection it is. That is the Brahma, which is the Atma. You go in search of that. To that Atma, nothing can be added. So you need not embellish it. Nothing can be added to that. Nothing can be taken away from it. Na karmana vardhate. No kaniyan. It is not going to be embellished by any karma, nor it is going to remain deficient without a particular karma. So, that is the Atma. In it, all desires are absent. It is the fullness. It is the state of desirelessness, which is not a stale state. Desirelessness is fullness. It is godliness. And in it, there are no fears. So, because, why there are no fears and desires in it? Because they have lost their meaning. The fears and desires have lost their meaning in that vision of the truth. So, people ask, what should we follow? Should we follow dualism or Advaita Vedanta? You see, unity is the truth of this creation. So, Vedanta is the unifying philosophy. Like science. Science unifies the divergent things into common laws. Science says, science proclaims the law of gravity, which unifies all objects of this world. Gravity unifies the entire multitude of objects. Because every object is attracted towards every object. Love unifies all living beings. So what is gravity to the non-living? Love is to the living. The unifying thing it is. That is how nature operates in unity. And life operates in unity. So Vedanta is the unifying philosophy. Duality can never ever be anything to do with the real. Unless you are so thoroughly deluded, you cannot have truth in duality. It doesn't require any proof. You are the proof. Who can give proof to you? Unless you are open-minded, who can prove things to you? And who has the time to prove things to you? Who has the time and energy to prove things to you? You have to discover the truth yourself. So, only the path is shown, that's all, out of love. It's a labor of love. It is not rooted in any self-interest. And so, you see, the Vedanta, the unifying philosophy, it helps us to discover the timeless reality which is in man and also in the nature at once. Simultaneously, the same timeless reality pervades the nature as well as the human being. Therefore, the theme of Vedanta is freedom, and its message is fearlessness. And so that one has to get that message, and one has to understand that truth. So Vedantic vision of unity is the meeting ground. The Vedantic vision of unity is the meeting ground for science and religion. Science fructifies in the vision of Vedanta, and even the religion has its culmination in the vision of unity. A religion which cannot take you to unity has no value whatsoever. Swami Vivekananda said, every soul is potentially divine. Tattvamasi. I am putting in my own words. All these temples, books, scriptures, worships, etc., they serve only a small purpose in taking you in that to that unity. If they don't take you there, then they are worthless. I have paraphrased Swamiji's words in my own words. So, therefore, Vedantic unity is the meeting ground for love and knowledge. You have love in you, you have knowledge in you. They culminate together. They meet and culminate together in the vision of unity, Tattvamasi. And therefore, that Tattvamasi, yat sakshatkaranat, you have to perceive that truth, that oneness, rising beyond the multiple opposites, sukha, dukkha, so swa and para, mine, non-mine. So, rising beyond all these opposites, you have to discover that reality in you. Sakshat karanat, you have to discover it in you. Sakshat, it is that. You discover the truth in you. Nobody can offer truth to you on a platter. You have to discover it in you. That is the meaning of Sakshat. Sakshat means in the depths of your inner being, you have to discover the truth. Yat Sakshat karanat, bhavenna punaravurtihi bhavambho nidhau. This is samsara, it is an ocean, and so if you don't discover the truth within you, you will return to that ocean. It is like a criminal. He has served his sentence and he is released, but he has not learnt anything from it. He will be returned to the penitentiary. Similarly, a human life is like a release from that bondage of samsara, and now you have the freedom to know the truth. And if you know, you need not return to the bondage of the samsara. The samsara, one of these days I will describe it. So, that is the verse. We'll go to the next verse. Nanachidra ghatodara sthita mahadeepa prabhabhaswaram jnanam yasya tu chakshuradi karanadvara bahispandate. Jnanamiti. That is the structure of the sentence. So, yasya jnanam jnanami iti rupena chakshuradi karanadvara bahihi spandate. That is the structure of the sentence. This jnanamiti you have to take back. Then the next sentence follows. Tameva bhantam anubhatye tat samastam jagat. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. This verse is based on a particular Shruti called Pravesha Shruti. Pravesha. There are Pravesha Shrutis in every Upanishad. There is a very technical name given to those sentences. Like Mahavakya, Tattvamasi is the Mahavakya. Like that Pravesha Shruti. What is the Pravesha Shruti? The Pravesha Shruti in Taittiriya, which must be familiar to you, Tat Sruštva Tadeva Nupravishat. So Ishvara has created the universe. and he entered into it. This entry Shruti. Ishvara created and entered. Now, you have to find Ishvara, right? So where will you find Ishvara now? You have to find Ishvara in the universe only. If you are trying to find Ishvara outside the universe, your search is a waste. It will not fructify, because Ishvara has entered into the universe, having created it, has entered. That is how it is said. You see, there is God in the world before you. And so, why? Because he has entered into this universe. That is the very significant Shruti, it is Pravesha Shruti. He has entered. Now, okay, if Ishvara has entered, it is like this Krishna, he is in, Krishna is in the forest, on the banks of river Yamuna, so Gopikas are searching for him. So, it is all dark, and it is a forest, but certainly he is there. How do you know? One Gopika asked another, how do you know? Yeah, I saw him entering into the forest. Come on, let us go. And so they enter into that forest. And they ask all the trees, oh trees, so did you see Shri Krishna? A Tamala Vriksha is seen. And one Gopika, hey, Tamala Vriksha, the Lord Krishna must be friend to you because he resembles you in his color. And so he is blue, you are blue. Therefore, he is your friend. You must be knowing. He must have wandered through here. So like that they search. Therefore, you have to search for God in the world. You should not look up. Upwards is also within the universe only. Therefore, you have to search for God in the universe. Now, to search for God in the universe, you should know how God looks like. What are some of his characters you should know. And so, the first character is Jnanam. That is what God is. He is the truth, Satyam, okay, he is the truth, we understood it. But we have to find him, you know. So where should we start? Jnanam. Satyam, Jnanam. Jnanam is the mark which will help you to locate Ishvara. Wherever you find Jnanam, oh, this is the mark of Ishvara. So, Shri Krishna says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane. In him you see Jnanam. The mark, you cannot miss it. Then Gavi, in the cow, there is Jnanam in cow also. Cow knows many things, it knows. It can be very smart also, cow, in its own way. It knows its calf. It knows time. Oh, this is the time for food, it knows. This is the time for milking, it knows. Hastini, elephant, it knows. Elephants know many things. If you look at National Geography about elephants, they know more than us. And then Shuni, oh dog, my God, it is something. It knows. You see, one person in Bombay, he had a pet dog and he wanted to get rid of it for whatever reason. So he thought he left it in, he was living in South Bombay, he left it in North Bombay. Before he came home, he has traffic jam and all that. Before he came home, it has already arrived at home. So he struggled with it a few times. Then what he did, he was going to Sholapur. And he, by train, Sholapur Express. And so he entered it along with the dog. And he left the dog in Sholapur and returned by the Sholapur Express. Within a week, the dog has come back. It was emaciated, struggling, but it has come back. It knows. Shuni. So there is a jnanam. Pandita samadarshinaha. The pandita, the jnani, he knows. Samam Brahma, you know, sama is Brahma. Sama is Brahma. Vishama is Namarupa. Namarupa are ever different. Astivhati is the sama, you know. Namarupa, etc. are the ever changing. Non-changing is sama. That is Brahman. That is jnanam. Pandita samadarshinaha. The Brahman they see wherever there is jnanam. So, you better start seeing in yourself. So this question was addressed by Swami Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. There is God everywhere. Antarbahishya tat sarvam vyapya narayana sthitaha. Narayana is outside, Narayana is inside. So where should we search for Narayana now? Let us start outside. That is not a wise move. Maharshi says, you first discover Narayana in you. When you discover Narayana in you, you will find Narayana everywhere. When you have only conflict and enmity and ill will in you, then that only you will find everywhere. You will not find Narayana outside. Keeping so much strife inside you, so many desires and fears inside you, you will not find Narayana outside. You will only be saying Narayana, Narayana. You won't find. Therefore, you start with yourself. So begin at the journey begins with the first step. So you have to start in yourself. You have to discover in yourself. You know how you are? You are like a pot. The body is a pot anyway. It is called ghataha. Ghatyate iti ghataha. One which is put together carefully. That is called ghata. That is how pot is put together. Similarly, this is also put together in the mother's womb by nature. It is put together carefully. Therefore it is ghata. This is ghata with holes, multiple holes. So, this is a beautiful illustration. This is very original to Shankara. You don't find it elsewhere. Only in Shankara Daksinamurti Stotram you find it. So, you have a lamp glowing and put a pot on it. But if the pot is entirely closed, then the lamp will get extinguished. There must be some holes in the pot. So you put a pot with a few holes on it. You are that pot. There is a lamp burning in you. And you are the pot. So that is what you are. Nana chidra ghatodara sthita mahadeepa prabha bhaswaram jnanam. That deepa, the pot is the body. And what is the lamp? These are all metaphors. You should have that beauty, that understanding of metaphor. Metaphor is a beautiful expression, it is. If you don't understand metaphor properly, and if you break it in multiple directions, then you have spoiled the whole thing. So body is the pot. And inside the pot, with multiple holes, eyes is a hole. Because through the holes light comes out. So eyes is a hole. Ears, they are all holes only, because they are called khani. Paranchi khani. Khani means chidrani. So they are the orifices. Or one more word is there like that. So they are the holes. Anyway, so through those holes, the jnanam is pouring out, like the light pours out from inside the pot. And jnanam is pouring out. And what is the lamp inside? The lamp inside is the jnanam. Nana chidra ghatodara sthita mahadeepa prabha bhaswaram. Mahadeepa prabha iva bhaswaram it is. It is iva, like bhaswaram, brilliantly shining. What? Jnanam. We'll continue it. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishnarpanamastu.